Okay, I've printed off some Fluke stuff. I'm going to fire up the Fluke. And let's go ahead and set it up. Okay. And let's fire up our game board set. Okay. Board is on. And let's do a bus test. Bus test is good. Let's try some RAM. 4,000 to 7 FFF. Let's do RAM 4,000 to 7 FFF. Okay, it's giving me right off the bat FF bad bits, read write error. So can't speak to any RAM. How about E000 to F. Same thing, nothing going on. You know what I'm tempted to do is put in, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. Let's turn this off. Stop. Turn this guy off. What I want to do is put in Space Zap and run these tests. Just to verify, yeah, this works. I don't need that plugged in for this. So we'll take that board out. And we'll take the ROM memory board out, and we'll put in the Space Zap memory board. Okay. There we go. Now let's fire it up again. Fluke first. Okay, and game board. And set up. Okay, auto test is good. Now let's do that RAM at 4,000 to 7 FFF. And it does the same thing. So I don't know what's going on here with this. Is 4,000 a valid RAM address? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with this thing. To gee, it's running. I knew that the you know, Space App might That's weird. Yeah, the Fluke just has a hard time running this game, this board set, I think. Yeah. You know what I can do is I might do a learn on this. I'm going to learn, that'll tell me what the RAM actually is. The 2 RAM cards are what I'm really interested in. Learn at 0 to FFFF. Alright, this is going to take a long time, so I'll be back. Okay, I printed off Space Zap of ROM Fluke info, and I'm going through these ROMs, and I'm on the 4th one, which starts at 3000 to 3FFF 6D93 6D93. These are all good. My guess is that this hardware has some kind of funky RAM addressing, and I don't know if it's with the data or if it's with the addressing. It's probably the data, because I get back bad FF data every time. So there's probably some weird system of how this handles RAM data, and the Fluke don't like it, and the Fluke can't handle it. Because I know, according to everything I've found from TechNet, the website, the Fluke website and whatnot, is you got RAM at 4000 to 7FFF. Well, let's just go to 43FF. You know, that is RAM. It should be RAM. And it immediately gives me FF back bad. So this thing, and you can see the Fluke don't like it anyway. It tries to run it and it gets all crazy. Well, lines through there, you know. The Fluke cannot deal with the RAM system on this thing, which sucks. It makes it ineffective. But I can test the ROMs, because there's no funkiness with the ROMs. So I'm going to put the other boards, the Robbie Roto boards, back in, and I will be able to test the ROMs. And if I can get to the ROMs, I can get to them. I can't get to the RAM. It's unfortunate that I can't get to any of this RAM, you know, so. But I did use the Inquisitor, and I know that these RAMs on this board are good. On the memory board, the RAM, the main memory board, they're good. The screen RAM is the 2 RAM cards, I believe. That's the screen RAM, I think. It has to be. It must be. And yeah, I can't get to it with this. It must be handled. It's got to be handled some way that the Fluke don't like. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and pop the Robbie Roto stuff back in, and I'll see if I can at least check ROMs. Okay, now I've got Robbie Roto put back together, and I've got the Fluke on, and I will turn the board on, and let's do the setup. Bus test is good, and let's do ROMs. ROM at 0, 2, and that is 9286. Let's see what it says. I gotta believe that this won't work. Okay. And EF6D. EF6D. I'm repeating it and see if it gives me the same thing. EF6D. It gives me the same thing. That tells me EF. Okay, it's giving me the same data back, which means it's getting the same thing from the ROM. It could be a stuck bit in the data coming back. It could be an addressing issue going to it. It's getting, I mean, as far as this is, it's working as far as it's getting the same thing back every time, which it's not a random failure. It's the same set failure every time. So I'm going to do just a couple more. And this is B104. B104. What I'm going to end up doing is taking the fluke off of this, swapping the boards around to where, well, I got to look at the schematic and I got to look at decoding. This is a decoding issue, I believe. Maybe the ROM's not getting turned on right, or something funny's going on. And it's giving me EF6D. That's the same thing. It's giving me the same thing. I'm going to try one way up in the range. (52A8). This one's like way at the other end of the range, the address range. And it's giving me the same thing. So, it's giving me the same thing every time. EF6D. I wonder if that is... if a lot of times with ROMs, if you take them out and you're just getting FF back, it'll be a set number. I wonder if that is the set number with all data bits being FF. I don't know. But this could be a blown out chip, or you know, I don't know. It could be, though. It could be. I don't think it's a data chip. I think it's decoding. I really do. I think that the decoding is failing and no ROM is even being turned on, and it's getting FF back. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That ROMs are not even being accessed and it's just bringing back FF is what I believe is happening. So I got to look at the schematic. I'm going to find out where the decoding is at. I'm going to flip these boards around and have whatever the decoding is I need on top, because I need to be able to probe it. So let me check out some schematic stuff, and let's find the decoding circuitry, because that's where we're going to look, and that's where we're going to find our problem. So we will be back. Okay, it's set up to do some probing. I'll be probing around this baby. I looked at the schematic U8 and U9. These two guys right here are the 139s that decode and fire all of the ROMs and these RAMs. So, but all of the addressing comes up through these 244s, and I bet you this is the data back and forth. I didn't really look at the schematic that good. I just kind of got the general gist of it. So what I'm going to do is just First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to probe these, all of these buffer drivers. And it's low and high. You can see the reset. Where it resets, it just goes high. Okay. And this is the enable, which is always enabled, it looks like. And direction. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're getting activity through this guy. I know this chip's good. I put it in my tester and it said it was good. So I'm just kind of checking around. I'm just probing around. Basically what I'm looking for by probing these, because I know these chips are all good, I'm looking for floating. I'm looking for floaters. That means there's a bad connection, broken trace, something. Because of the nature of this board set, how it was corroded and whatnot, I'm curious about broken traces. Okay. All right. I'm pretty confident this is all good. This is going to be all good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What in the heck? There's a floater. That is enable, but that's a floating signal right there. Okay. That's the other side of that. Oh, there's another floater, but then it goes to not floating. There's another one. Okay. Well, there's definitely something to look at right there. That's just floating. we got some issues with some signals for sure. That's not being enabled. That's not being enabled. Okay, it looks like we have issues on this board with signals coming in and out. I got to look at what these are, but we've got failures in signals going through these buffers, these driver buffers, I think. So, yeah. Okay, I'll be back. Got to do a little studying. Okay, this is what I have learned from looking at the schematic. This guy right here is the data buffer. 8-bit data buffer. These two guys are the 16-bit address buffers. These are from the CPU board. I believe this is the upper, this is the lower 8 bits. This 244 is the buffer is the driver for all of the control signals. And this guy gets a lot of control signals. This bipolar ROM right here. This bipolar ROM gets control signals, a lot of them that come from here and from a couple address bits. And what this thing does is this is a decoder. This thing gives off five output bits, 4 of which enable these two guys. You know, there's 4 selectors here. There's one on the high side, one on the low side, on both of them. So that's 4 enables going to this. Pins 1 and 15 are the enables to these guys. So this thing is sending 4 bits to enable 4 selectors, and these select the ROM and RAM. That's what they handle. This thing's 5th output is the direction for this guy. So whether this thing needs to be sending to RAM or reading from RAM or ROM. So what I'm going to do is put this back in here, and I'm going to start probing. I want to probe this again. Now that I know what everything is, I want to probe everything carefully and find out what's going on. So let's do that. Okay, I've already probed one of the address buffers and it was fine. I'm going to start probing the other one from input to output, and you'll be able to see on the scope. Here's pin 2 as an input from the CPU, and it's driven through this pin. Okay, input, that's from the CPU. Why is that like that? Alright, hold on a second. I just turned it off. I want to reseat this CPU board. I know this CPU board is good. Alright. Reset. Now let's fire it back up. Oh. Same thing. What is going on? That is an address bit. Alright, I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to remove that chip, and I'm going to fire it back up and probe that pin. Okay, that's from the CPU. That's from the CPU. Why is that like that? That makes no sense. Okay, firing it out, turn it off. I'm going to remove this board. Okay. I'm going to remove this board. I'm going to put this back in without the game board. I'm going to turn it on, ground my scope, and probe. And the same thing. Huh. That makes no sense. Okay. In. Okay. In. That's where it goes funky. Why? It doesn't make any sense. There it is, right there. Turning it back off again. I'm going to put it down. Yeah. How much you want to bet? See these 8 away. I'm going to have to do a little bit of repairing on that. That's not corrosion. I don't know what it is. I did not sand these, So I did not do that. I think it's just, I don't know. They just kind of, but I believe that's the one right there, and there's barely no continuity really. I'm gonna see if I get continuity through these. No continuity. That's got to be the one. No continuity on this. No continuity on this. Wow. Yeah, let me let you take a look at what I'm doing here. Okay. If you can see, I have this set to, okay. Just going and checking the pads to the vias. Okay, good. No continuity. No continuity. No continuity. Where does that go? Over here someplace. That's a data bit. Okay, good. This is another data bit. And another. And another. Okay, good. Alright. No continuity there. So we got about what, 3? Good. 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 That one was bad. This one's bad. So there's about 3 bad ones on that side. Now, goodness gracious, let's check this side. Good. 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 Okay. This looks like it comes up over here. Good. I need to put that chip back in the board. Okay. Alright, where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Yep. Okay. The other side is on the back, which I tested, which is that floating stuff. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's a big thick pad. That's good. Good. Okay. Good. Okay, so alright. There's 3 of them on the back here that are broke, but I'm going to reinforce all of these that look crappy. And then we'll see what we got. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, and you can see what I did here. Easy enough. Just little leads from capacitors that I saved for reasons like this. Whenever I do cap kits and stuff, I always save a certain amount of the leads that I clip, because you never know. And here we go. I needed them. So this is what I did. You can see. Those ones are fine. So now all of our connections are good. So let's put it back together and see what we get. Okay, I am hooked all back up and powered on, and we're making progress. See that? It is now just resetting, but it's trying to run. Yeah, it's trying. Cool. All right, I think I'll reseat everything. I'm gonna stand this up and try reseating everything and see what happens. Okay, I stood it up and I reset all 4 of these boards, and this thing is running. It's working. How freaking cool is that? So I think I'm going to hook up the sound, hook up my speaker. Yeah, she working. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to hook the speaker up and put some sound to this thing and play some Robbie Roto. Well, I just realized I never put in start 1 and the start and coin wires. So I'm going to have to do that really quick. I forgot all about that. But I did hook up the speaker, and you can hear it. You can hear it, so I'm pretty sure it's working. So, pretty sure the audio's there. But it's still going good. Robbie Roto. Alright, let me go ahead and put some more stuff in here, the coin and start, and we'll get it going. Okay, so I just went ahead and put in my coin and my start wires and got it turned back on. It's running just fine. So I'm going to set up the camera and play some Robbie Roto. Alright guys, you ready for some Robbie Roto? Let's do it. Here comes a coin. Alright, and start. Here we go. It's another noisy one. Let's do the magic button. Oh, I didn't see him. Robbie Roto. kind of difficult to see what you're doing. That was a weird noise. It's another noisy one, and it's kind of hard to see what you're doing. You really need this in color. This one you really need in color. Hey, I'm 12th best. But how about that? Robbie Roto. Turn the lights back on. You know what I forgot all about? This is the Space Zap RAM cards. So even though this was an awesome playtest, we still have bad RAM cards down here for this game. And I don't know of a good way of testing those. I can't get at them in here. What am I supposed to do? Just replace all the RAM? You know what I could do? I might have to do is, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to have to remove all of those and test them in my Inquisitor. I think is what I'm going to have to do. You know, I don't know how else to test them. Is there a... Robbie Roto doesn't have no test ROM, does it? Not that I know of. Space Zap doesn't. You know what I'm going to do? Let me put this into test. You know what though? I read something on this test. Alright, let me take it out of test. You actually have to restart it. Take test off and restart it. But what I read something on the self-test on this game does that where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If it passes, it won't have a message after. It's like test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. And then test 5, it just does that tone. It was for operators to set the volume. That's what test 5 is. It's just an audio tone. And then, so this thing passes all the tests, but in the manual, I read in the manual on this game, and it says, it's like test 2 or something like that, tests the screen RAM, and it'll just have a message that says bad. And then in the manual it says replace bad RAM on RAM cards. That is in the manual. So that basically helps none. Not at all. So there's just not a good way of testing these unless you got a Gorf and you've got the test ROM. And I don't have a Gorf. So yeah. I'm going to do a separate... I'm going to end this video because for all intents and purposes, this is good other than the RAM cards. And the RAM cards are simply just me going through and removing all the RAMs, testing them, finding bad ones, and putting good ones in the board. You know, that's really all it entails. So I might do a separate video on rebuilding RAM cards for the card rack system. I'll do a separate video for that. But the Robbie Roto video I'm ending here as good to go. So as always, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next repair. And I will be doing a video. I'll film the RAM cards, rebuilding the RAM cards. I will film that. So, you know, keep your eye out for that one. We'll see ya. Thanks, guys.